Welcome to this interview. Today I have with me here, I'm hosted and enthused to be able to be sharing this hosted time with Tony Selimi. And he is a remarkable transformational coach and accelerated business growth strategist. Tony has 25 years of public and private sector experience, and he is with us here today. Welcome to this interview.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Caleb.
Well, I'm glad that you can take the time out of your busy schedule and join us here today. And I'm enthused about what you've done and people you've helped. And I think that it's an inspiration to us all. And I think that what you have to share with us today will help us to be inspired. So you are an author of a few books. What are those books here for the audience here today?
I have several books which have become multi-award-winning books, and also number one international best-selling books around the world. My first book, A Path to Wisdom, How to Live a Balanced, Healthy, and Peaceful Life, which pretty much brings you into a unique methodology that I devised through 3 decades of hard work, research, experience, and combining science and spirituality to help people to truly maximize and unlock their inner potential whilst they're healing the body, mind, heart, and soul, creating a work-life balance, and finding inner peace. So empowering every critical area of life. Now, on that journey, while I was traveling around the world and helping individuals and businesses maximize their potential, their power, and purpose, I recognized a symptom and effect that was happening globally, especially with the new technology taking over. Loneliness, a subject that impacted in myself, my parents, my family, friends around the world, people in technology. And I wanted to dive in the subject from a scientific perspective so I can help people live a more connected lives and being able to overcome the emotional part of it that really takes people into this lonely space. And as entrepreneurs, loneliness is massive. So I really wrote #loneliness as a global call to help people to connect better and also thrive in life and create an inspired destiny. Now, following that book, it's sort of, I went on another mission, which is to help leaders face burnout and who face burnout, stress, and the different challenges. And therefore, I worked with a few other authors, and we created a book called Fit for Purpose Leadership. And my specific expertise in there is around burnout, stress management, communication, and building leadership skills. Doing that, I also then went with some other authors around the world in Europe, and I published my first spiritual poems to help people through poems to go through self-mastery, self-development, self-reflection work, inner work, so they can become better leaders, better managers, better entrepreneurs, better professionals, called Novum 10. And then COVID happened. So before the whole thing happened, I sat down and I said, what are some of the biggest problems the world's going to face as a result of this pandemic? So I created this incredible chart. My entire room was filled in with white papers, charts, and notes. And I created the book called The Unfakeable Code. Take back control, lead authentically, and live freely on your terms. Because so many people found themselves locked at home, unable to work, unable to provide income. And also, it created so much problems at the leadership level, at the economy, at the global level, businesses, challenges like mental, emotional, communication challenges. Then, how do you take your services when everything is in lockdown? So this book really provides a roadmap to manage those challenges that you go through any uncertain times. And I wanted to bring my best expertise from my technology career, which is about disaster recovery management, into mindset management and also business and processes and relationship management, so you can really be authentic with yourself and live freely on your terms, no matter what the outside circumstances would be. And then following that, just as we're coming out of a pandemic, recently I published the latest book, A Path to Excellence. And this is about the blueprint to achieving your greatest potential. And this is for professional people who are in 9 to 5, wanting to become entrepreneurs, or existing entrepreneurs or business owners who really want to pursue excellence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. That's amazing. One thing that I pick up from that is that there's help for the leader, help for the entrepreneur, help for the one that's the mover and the shaker, one that's out there risking a lot of things to make the dream come true. And one thing that about a business is that you can leave a business at the end of the day, but the entrepreneur still goes home at the end of the day. He's still the entrepreneur. He goes home at the end of the day, and it's still he has his life that he's living. So it's amazing how you write these books along all these journeys of these people in these different places. So tell me a little bit more about the people that you help.
Well, the people I help are very diverse, Caleb. Mm-hmm. They are professionals in like working in various industries, like lawyers, scientists, doctors, especially during the COVID. I had so many doctors reaching out to help them with different challenges. Entrepreneurs, businesses from all market sectors who are facing the challenges and the obstacles that stand before them to reach the results and the kind of ambitions they have. Mm-hmm. So, it's over the last decade and a half, I've worked with people who went from 95 to all the way to billionaires. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible the kind of challenges, but they all have things in common. And usually it's a chaotic mind. Mm-hmm. And chaotic mind can create a chaotic life. No matter whether it's in your personal, in your professional life, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a leader, or as a father, or as an educator. Mm-hmm. No matter what job you have, when you have a head full of noise, you can't truly bring into the world the service and the excellence you are capable to deliver. So across all of those, the first thing I really work with everybody to truly understand the psychology inside of every client that I work, being on a business level or individual level.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that says a lot, and brings up this question that I wonder about. So somebody who grows up with trauma but then yet they have this mind of that they want to excel. How much of what goes on with the noise is related to what they grew up with?
Well, one thing I always say to anybody who approaches me, mm-hmm. any challenge, any trauma, if you allow it to lead you, mm-hmm. you really lose yourself. But if you allow it to guide you into transformation, into the growth, into the person you want to become, it's a transformative power. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you're not limited by the trauma. I, for myself, have witnessed trauma from childhood, trauma from almost being dead in hospital for 2 years from an illness that back then I was told, my parents were told that I will die. Mm-hmm. But then my parents turned out to those spiritual teachers that I was taken to in parallel to medical profession. And then I came back into perfect health. Then I had to overcome the challenges of the culture in which I was brought up, where you weren't given any opportunities just because you are of a different creed. Just because ethnically you're somebody else, you're not given opportunities. Mm-hmm. And also being exposed to bullying. And then as I overcame all of those things, the civil war fell upon us in former Yugoslavia. I was taken from school, straight trained to be a soldier and fighting a civil war that I deep down despised. Mm-hmm. Every moment I lived on the edge, meaning I never knew if I'm going to have another second of my life. Now, always this voice inside of me that I had since I was a kid about going out there in the world and transform people, to help them heal inside out, and to help people collaborate, and in the spirit of shared values to really experience life's miracles. What really, in a way, saved me and those people who helped me during those years, and then I ended up homeless as a teenager on the streets of London. So you can understand the kind of challenges just as a set, but each challenge transformed me. And in the process, able to learn the knowledge, the skills, and the techniques I today use to help so many people diffuse any mental or emotional challenges, traumas, pains, hurts, so they can focus in the now and move forward with a more inspired destiny, a vision, mission, and a purpose in their life.
Mm-hmm. I love it. That's thanks for sharing your story. Like that's inspiring. And thank you. I know that what you just told me there is just a high surface. Not even we didn't even go very deep, but there's lots of things that you could reminisce on. And but it looks like it has been a stepping stone for you, right? So
Yeah,
when you work with somebody that's, let's say, brand new and they're full of all kinds of noise, what is your grounding method to get them to just get down to one step at a time?
every method that I use, I've actually shared them in my books. So
Mm-hmm.
more people can actually use them through their self-learning and self-growth.
Mm-hmm.
But the first part is truly understanding and clarifying what is going on in your head, meaning what kind of inner conflicts or inner pains or perceived challenges you have that stop you from getting somewhere. But usually also most people don't really know what's possible for them. They're not even aware the kind of gifts they have inside of them and the kind of clarity in the mind and in the emotions and in their purpose that requires them to have in order for them to succeed in life.
Mm-hmm.
So clarifying what's going on in the head is the first process before they can change anything. Because after all, if you want to change your outer reality, your inner reality must shift into the desired outer reality.
Mm. And how long does that take? How long does that take for them to get to that level where they can do that?
Well, there's no set formula, Caleb. Why? Because each person is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Their life experiences are unique. Their psychology is unique, and their callings inside of them, something that they want to bring into the world, is unique.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are very, very fast. For instance, most of my clients are very high achieving, ambitious individuals, and therefore they prefer to work with me very fast over 5 days periods where we do a work that usually takes a PhD level student to achieve over a few years. So, it all depends where you are in your own personal journey and how fast you want to go. Because when people ask me a question like that, I will ask them another question. I would say to them, how far do you want me to take you?
Yeah.
And, because no one in the world can really guarantee you how far you can go somewhere.
Yes.
That all depends on you, first and foremost. Of
Yeah.
course, experts like me, like you, and other people out there can guide you and have guided me and most likely have guided you. But we have to take that step. And how the mind works is very individual to the person.
Mm. I love it. I love it. And that's just it. When I've talked to people who have, and even myself, I think we all go back to times when we've been so full of noise. But when I talk to people that are so full of noise, there's so much looming going on right now. There's so many things are happening that are looming in their minds that it looks like they're in this forever. They're never going to get out. They're going to die this way, and it looks like they're never going to get out of this. And so I love it how you say it's each individual, and you can ask them, how far do they want to go, right? And it's
Yep.
like it opens up that door of possibility. It's like, oh, you mean I can actually get away from this muddleness? I can actually find some clarity in what I'm trying to do. I love the way how that opens that up for somebody.
Absolutely. I mean, during COVID, one of the doctors that I started working with, it's basically approached me to address the mental and the emotional consequences of working through COVID. And we all know what happened through COVID. You can imagine being there at the front line every single day, facing something that can even kill you.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, you're facing death every single day. So back then was about to help him better manage all those stresses so he can perform greatly as a doctor. But here we are, like 3 years down the line since COVID, on that journey. Not only I helped him grow in his profession and also become a clinical director, but I also helped him take his experiences and write a unique book, an idea that I planted in his head halfway through our journey. And but he remained committed into our coaching sessions. He remained committed in the training, and he trusted me with the vision I saw what he can do for others. Because I have this ability since I was a kid to be able to foresee and use my foresight to see how far I can take the client. And also, especially people who have amazing knowledge and they don't know what to do with it and how far they can reach with their expertise, their knowledge. So now, at the beginning of this year, in January, we were in Barbados preparing for his book launch. And going through 5 days of intense training, what needs to happen. Now the book launch happened, and he had a successful book launch. And we had many of the people from the healthcare industry here in the UK, in NHS, and also some of my celebrity clients and other people came and supported, because it's such an incredible work doctors do globally, and the book is for the doctors globally. Now one of the clients in Turkey was the same doctor who again booked himself on my 5-day training. And now it's about, where do we take the book from where it is now to where it can go. Now on these 5 days, 3 new ideas were born to how much more he can do, including creating some courses and also being able to translate the book in many languages. And from being a normal doctor to actually also being an entrepreneur with a mission to empower doctors globally.
Wow, that's I love it. I love it. So talk about this 5-day training. This sounds like too good to be true. A 5-day training and lots of transformation happens. Let's hear this. What's going on here?
Well, about a decade ago, Caleb, I decided to step away from doing one-to-many trainings and focusing on people who want to be amazing in what they do and impact significant amount of people, meaning entrepreneurs, leaders, professionals who wants to reach greater amount of people, and being able to take all their knowledge and skills and package it in a way so they can serve humanity better, and also in the process grow themselves, grow their business, grow their wealth, grow their service, grow their purpose. So this is where Vital Planning was created. Why? Because most people don't have a plan for their life. Most people, as somebody who worked in technology, every part of my role was to have detailed plans of any transformation needed to happen in the company, and also aligning technology with business and the company and the vision of the company. As part of that, I became excellent at creating plans, all forms of plans. And what I realized, whether it was my team or companies I worked for or people, individuals, none of them had plans. And if you don't have a plan, you actually plan to fail. It's a famous saying out there. So for me, I started to say, okay, what is it truly I want to do? I love teaching. I love traveling. I love transforming people's life. So I combined those 3 things, 3 major authentic values within myself, with providing an exclusive training for high achievers, ambitious entrepreneurs, and leaders, and politicians, and celebrities. And they have this unique experience, one-to-one with me, focused 8 to 10 hours a day, advanced learning and clarifying and planning and strategizing and creating most inspiring visions, and then support them in delivering those through the coaching programs that I have.
Wow. So you will fly to their location?
No, I do have certain clients that I fly in their locations, but I design my training in beautiful locations around the world where I intuitively pick up.
Okay.
So for instance, in Antalya, I started working there for the last 10 years. And every year I have a client who would love to book in Antalya. And those are people who love to combine traveling with transformation, because most people go on holidays and they feel tired and exhausted. But people who work with me, they come on holidays and they can combine the love for travel with the love from learning, growing, and teaching.
I love it. That's my kind of travel right there. I don't want to go to a beach and just sit there and look at the water. I want to do something, and that's awesome. I like that.
Yes, you can check out some of my client testimonials on my YouTube about vital planning, and you'll see the kind of locations like Mexico, Barbados, St. Lucia, Granada, Miami, Macedonia, Albania, Kosovo, Croatia, Turkey, Switzerland. So, this is clients who really love traveling, but at the same time really want to grow themselves, grow their businesses, grow their service, grow their purpose, and become philanthropic in their life.
Yes, awesome. That's really good. I love it. It seems to me now this is my little mind here trying to just process everything you're just telling me here. But when you get to travel to a place that you want to travel, or a place that you love to go, and you get removed out of your situation or your setting, that to me seems like when you go to a new place, and it's a place you've always wanted to go, that in itself will be able to contribute what you've taught them back to that good experience I had over here at this place. Does that go along with together with how powerful this coaching is?
Caleb, you got it straight away. Yes, absolutely. Why? Because if you are working in the environment where the problem is, you're not going to be focused. And also, I mean, I'm a high-end coach, meaning I charge premium prices for my services, and it's exclusive experience. You're not going to invest that kind of money in yourself for you to waste it.
That's right.
You want to maximize your own investment in the work that we do, but also you don't want the distractions of the environment in which the problem stays.
Yes.
And lives, and it's surrounding you and bringing your energy down. Just all the locations that I choose, it's like the one in Turkey, for instance. It's in Antalya. It's in this beautiful 5-star resort, amazing facilities, like Michelin star chefs, great beach, great activities, and I have a room, the training room, with incredible views. And every training room that I choose has amazing views, because just that gives you the inspiration of what's possible. Most people, when they are in their own environment, without traveling, without seeing what's possible, they cannot even give themselves permission to grow at that level. Now, the hotel that I stayed in and I delivered my trainings, the owner is one individual and his family, and they have multiple hotels, and he started from nothing. From nothing, absolutely nothing. And he reminded me of my parents, because my parents were restaurateurs. And, I grew up in a family background of restaurateurs and also in the farm. But also, I always had the zest for life. And my parents always instilled in all of us the importance education plays in transforming your life. And not just education, but continuous education. Because most people stop at some point. And most people, they excuse themselves from that. Either they make an excuse they don't have money, for instance, especially when it comes to training, continuous training, and getting coaching and getting experts to work with them. For me, that is when we become lazy. Because when we truly love something, Caleb, we will find the way. And sometimes when people approach me and they say to me, oh, that's one consultation will cost me an entire salary. And I said, well, how much will it cost you not achieving your dreams? And suddenly the plane reverts, because their dream would be so big that they'll realize suddenly, oh my God, I'm losing money, not that I'm not spending money. But, I've taken so many people through different journeys, and some of them, their parents invested just to work with me, and they created incredible success and growth. So, without investment, don't expect for you to grow at the level you are capable of.
That comes right from Tony, the man who's experienced objections when it comes to pricing, right there. And I can tell that could be a common theme. I want my dream, but I don't want to pay for it, or it's too much. Well, how little of a dream do you have, right?
That's the question we should ask ourselves. Even aware of how big their dream can be, and what the results can be, and what the rewards can be, not only financially. Financially, it's one reward. But when you feel fulfilled, Caleb, when you see transformation in other people from the service you give to other people, it's an incredible joy. So for me, everybody who's watching this, especially my clients who've been on my training, they know what I'm speaking. And if you speak to my client, Dr. Garbelli, he's on LinkedIn. Actually, you may want to interview him, the guy who just published the book. And he will tell you that we can work 8 to 10 hours with no break, and you don't feel tired. And this is where true inspiration and wisdom and love what it can do for you.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. That's I'm glad that you were able to explain that, because I really think for people to hear that how they just need to let their dream become the dream, right? Let it go and be the dream, and not hold it back, not put limitations on it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just to give them a comparison, for instance, Caleb, my last technology job in the corporate world, I was hired to deliver a £9 billion transformation program, and I was given a 200K salary. But then I discovered halfway through that the person who did it before me, he was being paid 1.2 million for the same job. So, this is where it realized me. I have my own worth that I myself disown. And when you disown your own worth, other people will disown it. You don't know how to monetize the value you have within you. This is the first change that happened in me. But also, the moment I got off the street, I worked 3 to 5 jobs to be able to educate myself and also continue with my healing journey, because back then I had so much trauma out of the events of coming out of a civil war, and I wasn't even speaking the language. So I had to learn English from scratch. Now I speak 4 languages fluently. I can converse and communicate in 4 languages. And overcoming those barriers, I would work at least 1 to 2 jobs to start paying for healers, for mentors, for coaches, for my own education. So I know what it means to have nothing. But I also know what it means when you say to yourself, how do I make it happen? And when you, instead of saying to yourself, I can't afford, ask yourself, how do I make it happen? How do I make it affordable so I can grow?
So the coaching side of things, when you're in that coaching, explain how does the coaching help somebody achieve their dream? I think I can say that clearly enough. How does the coaching, explain how the coaching can help? How does it help? Tell us about the magic here.
I'll start with myself, Caleb. In 2008, following the financial crash, my company back then were going through a lot of redundancy. And I was the last one to be let go. So from working very hard, going from homeless to creating a very, very successful technology career, I faced this prospect again, being broke, again, being on the streets. Now, I remember I spent the redundancy money in one night. I spent over £20,000 in different training programs to help me to clarify what am I going to do next in a world where everybody tells me, there's no job. Recruiters were telling me no job. Papers were telling me no job. The economy was telling me everything is going down. But I could see people spending money. And I could see other people making money. And then the question was, why not me? What is difference between me and all those people? What is different between us, meaning all of us struggling, with all of us who are succeeding? So I then used all of my credit cards to really go and do a few coaching programs, and also become a transformative coach, and go through a proper education about coaching, both leadership, executive, and personal coaching. Now, in the process of training to become a coach, also I realized the power coaching holds on being able to transform your life, transform your perceptions, transform your reality in a way that otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it. So coaching, and most people, confuse coaching with mentoring, with consulting. But for me, having spent almost 3 decades specializing in human behavior, organizational behavior, also on emotional intelligence and cognitive and neuro-linguistic and transformative coaching, I created an integrated approach. Why? Because through any situation you're working with clients, they might need at some point coaching. And coaching is really creating an incredible safe space to ask powerful questions, where the person comes to self-realization and self-actualization and self-awareness and self-reflection. Those are some powerful things that happens in a coaching space. On the other hand, mentoring comes like having 15 years of experience in the corporate world. I can mentor anybody working in the corporate world, in their professional career, in their business, whatever. But also as a consultant, it's a very different approach. So bringing those together, I formed a unique breakthrough coaching system that I coach my clients now.
And I think what you said there is, if anybody has any doubts, because what I could when I visit with people, and even myself, as I've looked and reflected on things, sure, you might be able to help this person write a book, but I'm not that person, right? Like I don't have those abilities, or I can't be really that great because, this other person has. But what the key point you hit on here was that you reflect and help them understand what they have within.
Yes, their unique strengths. You can't, everybody has a calling, Caleb.
Yep.
You might be called to do social work, and then you have this expectation you need to have a lot of money. Well, the two is not going to work. So, you need to really clarify the reasons, the why you are drawn more to certain things. But if you are so strong about those things, you can even become successful in whatever you desire to be.
Yeah.
So, firstly, it's figuring out what are their unique strengths and values, not the ones that have been injected through years of conditioning, from family environment, from the background, from the schooling system, from the friends, the jobs they've worked in, and the current uncertain and constantly evolving and changing world. And, this is the problem most people around the world are currently finding it, navigating a world which is daily changing so much that your system, your brain cannot comprehend those changes. And therefore can lead you into feeling stuck, feeling frustrated, feeling stressed, feeling anxious, feeling depressed, and feeling like you need so many pills or whatever addictions you can develop to cope with those things. So coaching, for me, a great coach, somebody who has the expertise, will focus on you. And I always tell people, don't be a freeloader. With a freeloader, you become a freeloader, meaning other people will see you like that. Pay for the service. If you want great food, you pay for that food. Nobody's going to give it to you. You don't go to supermarket, expect the best quality food to be given to you freely. Service means exchange. So you need to exchange that value within you. So if you want value from an expert, pay the expert. Or if you can't, read their books and then grow slowly, or do like what I did, get 3-4 jobs and make it affordable.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. I'm just glad to hear that you explain this, because people, as they realize this, they internalize this, they realize that the possibilities are there for them. It's not a matter of fact of that. Well, it's just not fair because I live on the other side of the block, or I don't have the right last name, or I didn't have the best friend who was worked in Wall Street. No, it's actually, it makes it to where they can see that if they can remove all this noise and the stuff out of within themselves, that there is actually something golden that was given to them that they can share with the world.
Absolutely. I believe each one of us has not gold, I believe diamond. That, when it's polished nicely, people want it.
Yeah.
And most people don't really know how to polish that. And, another great metaphor that I use with clients, especially some people say, oh, I don't need a coach. But then they're not in where they want to be, and they keep complaining about their lives. And I went like, and some of them say, oh, it's all inside of me. And my response to that, Caleb, is like, yes, all the materials are inside the earth, but it took the man to bring it out of the earth and build structures, build, technology, build buildings and build homes. Yes. So it needs those to be in harmony. Yes. So for me, I believe we're all each other's teachers and I would say students. So I consider myself both a teacher and a student of life.
Yep. That's right. So let's talk about, you talked here about the being in the corporate world, and you talked about how you had these jobs, and now you are a coach. And how does going from corporate world to now being a coach, where did this all of a sudden get to be where, what, this is my calling and this is what I'm going to do for my life and to help others?
I will tell you a story. In 2002, after the war, I managed to get my parents back together and save my father's life. And then I graduated, and then from then on, every year I would bring my parents to England to really relax and reward them for the hard work they've done all their lives for thousands and thousands of people. So in 2002, my mother was here, and we're having this discussion with my dad. Back then, my entire focus was to be the best technology expert CIO I can be, and work for big companies, which I was working, and go both in public and private sectors. And I started to interview my parents about their life, and I wanted to really understand who my real parents are, not that kind of son-parent relationship, but the kind of relationship that you can really understand their reality, because they're born before the Second World War. They participated in Second World War. They were in arranged marriage, and they started from scratch and built like big restaurant businesses and empowered all their family members, because my dad was the eldest and my mom was the youngest. And when they got married, my dad's mother passed away. So my mother inherited 6 other children before she even had us.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to understand the rich history of my parents beyond that parent relationship. And during that, I asked some probing questions, and my mother would, certain times would react towards my father about his certain mistakes in his life. And she turned around to my dad and said, "My son one day will write books."
Yeah.
Very casually. But my idea of my life back then was technology, corporate world, and become a leader and, lead and transform companies through technology.
Mm-hmm.
But that sound, when she said it to me, I laughed. But also it was something that resonated, which I always wanted to do since I was a kid, because I've read over 30,000 books, and I always delved deep into the author's journey, whether they were scientific books, whether they were physics books, mathematics books, or cosmology, or comparative religion, or nonfiction or fiction books. I love books. So when my mother said that, this is the first thing that I thought to myself, one day I want to write a book. And it reminded me of my dream when I was a kid, that I would tell people when they would ask me, what do you want to be? And I would say these things. I want to be a captain of a spaceship. I want to be an engineer. I want to be an architect. I want to be an author, and I want to be a healer. And this is where I connected that my explanation to people when I was 5 years old, when my mom in 2002, at the age of 32, telling me the same thing I used to respond when I was a kid. So she planted that seed in me, in my head, but it was in the background. It didn't happen until I was going through another trauma of losing my job and being made redundant, and going through so many training, professional growth, and development and spiritual development, that I went like, okay, it's time for me to combine 30 years of knowledge and expertise and give the world a gift. So the idea then came together in 2013. I did another MBA little course through which, again, they reinforced the idea for me to write a book. And I sit down and I wrote my first book, A Path to Wisdom, with a mission to help really people find inner peace. Because when you have that noise inside of you, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional noise, you truly cannot be at peace. And everybody wants that by default. Yeah. And if we can't be in peace with ourselves, we can never be in peace with others.
Wow. So when you got out and you wrote that book, then you started booking clients right away? Or
well, I mean, I already had clients, because back then I used to have two jobs. One is my technology jobs, but I also started coaching and mentoring and healing work. And a lot of my clients wanted those 3 elements together. Okay. They wanted a coach who's a healer, and they wanted a healer who's a coach and a trainer with a professional background, who knew science behind spirituality, and who knew spirituality and the science. So, I started this work, and I had 2 companies in parallel, and I couldn't decide which one I wanted more, my tech career or my entrepreneurship career. But when the book came out, instantly it became international bestseller and sold hundreds of thousands of copies. Now, I've reached 1 million bestseller kind of copies of the books. But when I started receiving messages from people around the world reading the book, people I've never known, people saying, you wrote this book for me, people who recognize the stories, the journey, and the kind of insights that I share in the book, they went like, oh my God, this is like, I'm your book. Yeah. And seeing that I've given glimpse of hope to people, that reinforced the idea, I want to go in the world and share my knowledge, my expertise, my unique methodologies that I've combined, and it's taken me 3 decades of hard work and pain and overcoming many, many challenges and facing failure after failure after failure after failure, and help people and inspire them to be all they can be.
Such a gift that you've been able to just go on that and use that and being able to share that with the world. I think that's truly amazing.
And I continue to do so. I've just finished my let me count the 2, 4, 6. My 7th book, and it's called Climb Greater Heights. And this book will be launched in spring 2024, and it's specifically about entrepreneurs and business owners.
Nice, very.
And
very
I share a unique methodology about how to grow your expertise, your authority, your credibility, and really build a purposeful, prosperous, and philanthropic business that you love and other people love, and they want to shout about it.
That's just great. Well, I'm looking forward to that in spring. That's going to be a really good book to read and pick up.
Yes, and I'm going to be launching a Udemy course next month.
Okay.
And it's called Overcoming Resistance to Change. And this is one of the key elements that keeps people stuck.
Yes, yes. I love it. What about the person that's listening who says to themselves that they're too old to change, too old to get their dreams? What do you say?
I can give you an example of my eldest client.
Okay.
My eldest client is a 75-year-old lady, a grandmother, with many children and grandchildren, who came in one of the places I give a keynote speech. And she got a signed copy of Path to Excellence and Path to Wisdom. She bought those 2 books. And she looked at me and she went like, I love your energy. I don't know why, but you're going to be my mentor. And I'm looking at her, 75-year-old lady. I said, you can mentor me and teach me about the things in life. And she was like, no. All my children are gone. My grandchildren are doing well. I find myself questioning what to do next.
Yeah.
So to cut down the short story, now she's actually having a unique retreat that she brings a lot of grandmothers together and have a lot of fun. So I helped her build that business, by the way. And frankly, she doesn't need money. But she's actually making a lot of income because her energy and the way we set up the entire retreat brings some incredible women together. And they have these incredible stories. And now I've instilled the idea to help her write a script that we can turn into a TV series.
Yeah.
So there's no limit. There's no limit where you can go. If you can breathe and you have in your heart something you want to do, it's never too late to do it.
Yeah. That's great. I love to hear that. Tony, this has been a jam-packed interview. I really appreciate you sharing everything that you have here. There's been a lot of golden nuggets, a lot of takeaways that people can use to inspire them in their journey. How can people reach out to you? What's the best way?
The most convenient way for people to reach me is through my website, tonyselimi.com, TonySelimi.com. They can find details about my coaching and training services, both individually, corporate, or family, or relationship. Also, they can download free copies of my free chapters of any of my books, so they can at least start the process. And there's a lot of wonderful resources in there. And also on my shop, you can also find my meditation solutions, and people usually order direct copies where I actually write a channeled message for the individual without knowing them. And then they can find links to my social media. They can follow me on social media. They can connect with me on LinkedIn, and where I share a lot of resources. And also I have a weekly newsletter on LinkedIn called Unfakeably Influencing the World, where I share a lot of different growth building strategies and advice and insights where people can use to start their journey or grow where they are on their existing journey.
Awesome. TonySelimi.com. So that's the place to get all the goodies here. Well, that's really good. Thanks again, Tony. Appreciate you spending the time here and sharing your story here with us.
Thank you so much, Caleb, for this opportunity.
Yes. Okay.